afternoon, and thanks for joining us on the New News. I'm Diane Parker. Miller has the work week forecast, but first, our top story. The United Kingdom and the world are saying a final goodbye to a monarch and an icon. Thousands attended the state funeral at Westminster Abbey for Queen Elizabeth II, where they mourned the loss but also celebrated her 70-year reign. Ian Lee reports from London.
The coffin of Queen Elizabeth left Westminster Abbey for a funeral procession through the streets of London, her son, King Charles, walking behind with the royal family. The pageantry followed a state funeral that drew dignitaries from around the world.
We come to this house of God, here where Queen Elizabeth was married and crowned, to mourn our loss, to remember her long life of selfless service.
On her coffin, a handwritten note from the king that said, "In loving and devoted memory." 2 minutes of silence punctuated a service of the highest order that ended with the now revised national anthem, "God Save the King." This is the first funeral for a reigning monarch to be held at Westminster Abbey since King George II in 1760. 9-year-old Prince George, second in line to the throne, and his younger sister, Princess Charlotte, attended the service with their parents. Across the UK, crowds flocked to parks to watch on big screens. Some stood in tribute. Others wiped away tears.
It's a very good send-off. The Queen means so much to me.
Quite emotional because she's been, our Queen for a lot of years. We're never going to see another a Queen.
The hearse drove the Queen's coffin to Windsor Castle for another service before her private burial at St. George's Chapel next to her late husband, Prince Philip. Ian Lee, CBS News, London.
Back in Montana, Korean War veterans are being honored as they return from their honor flight to Washington, D.C. MTN's Haley Monaco takes us to their special homecoming.
Sunday afternoon, 2 Korean War veterans returned home to Billings after a trip to Washington, D.C. The 2 lifelong friends said it was a trip of a lifetime. Family members gathered at Billings Logan International Airport, eagerly anticipating the arrival of Bill Dame, an Air Force vet, and Irving Scheit, a Marine vet, as they returned home from their honor flight trip. And when the 2 87-year-olds came around the corner, they were surprised to see the crowd gathered for them at the bottom of the stairs.
I was just shocked because I wasn't expecting anything like this.
The only thing that I was a little bit suspicious when he told me, "Put your shirt back on."
The 2 were each accompanied on the weekend trip by their sons, Greg and John.
They must have done a good job because we got back.
The trip was organized by Honor Flight, a nonprofit organization dedicated to transporting as many U.S. military veterans as possible to see the memorials of wars they fought in, all at no cost to the vets. They all say they had a fantastic experience on the trip, touring monuments and meeting other veterans from across the country.
It's wonderful for me. I'll never experience this again. I thought it was going to be good, but I didn't know it was this good.
Dame and Scheit both attended Custer High School. They knew their draft number was coming up, so a group from the high school decided to enlist.
If you enlist, you get to go where you want to go. So 6 of us went up to Billings, and we all enlisted.
Both men were very appreciative of the honor flight and the trip they just had.
I think they really showed their appreciation for us.
I just can't thank enough whoever it was that got us involved in it. And I'm just excited to find out who is going to be going next.
In Billings, Haley Monaco, MTN News.
This week, the Federal Reserve meets to decide on another interest rate hike. The meeting starts tomorrow. Most economists expect another interest rate increase of at least 0.75%. And today, most gas stations should have switched their winter blend of gasoline, and that means gas prices could fall even more since the winter blend costs less to produce. AAA reports the average price for a gallon of unleaded gas is now $3.67. And that's a look at some of the day's top stories.
Happy Monday, everybody. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. Now back to work and school we go. Some of us today well above average with our temperatures, especially the central and eastern parts of the state. Still not feeling too bad, though, on the western side. We're going to stay dry for the most part. We do have some clouds out there, maybe trying to spit out some rain. But these temperatures will change tomorrow as we are eyeballing a cold front that's going to drop through and drop those temperatures down. More on that in just a second. Let's take a look at projected highs today. Helena, our state capital, 74, 76 in Missoula, Butte up to 71, 77 in Bozeman, Havre at 77 as well. Cupping not trying to get out of the 60s today with a high of 66, 85 in Billings. We'll go near 90 in Sheridan, 81 in Cody. Here's that cold front I was talking about making its way toward the area. We'll tell you what the effects are going to be coming up.
This summer's historic flooding knocked out a good part of Yellowstone National Park's summer tourist season. But now, thanks to washed out roads, school children are struggling to cope. Here's MTN's John Shearer from Gardner.
A lot of schools have a bear for a mascot, but who else can say their mascot is framed by some of Yellowstone's famous peaks, where elk graze just beyond the end zone? The football field is framed by Yellowstone's famous arch, and kids rush to the window to gaze at a huge bull elk. The Gardner School is unique, and now it's facing a unique problem. When a 500-year flood wiped out the only road connecting Gardner, right here, with park headquarters over these hills up in Mammoth, it also stranded more than 50 school children who go to class in Gardner.
So I first put my 7-year-old on the bus, then I get in the car with my 3-year-old and drive down.
But driving down is no easy task because there's a mad rush to finish improving and paving a temporary road to, before winter, replace the one that washed out. The road is now closed. Just a few convoys a day, supervised by rangers, are allowed.
And then at 5, I'll leave my house and drive down to pick up my 3-year-old, get back up home at around 6, and then my 7-year-old gets off the bus at about 6:15.
Well, I think it's going as best as it can be going. We've got a lot of tired kids, you know, they're spending a lot of hours here.
Evenings are tough. There's just not enough time in the evening for us to really wind down and see each other and eat and bathe and get ready for the following day.
The kids notice it too.
Yeah, it is kind of annoying sometimes because we have to wake up a little earlier. It's a different road, which is kind of way more bumpy.
My job and my role is to make sure that the community need is met. Our parents play a vital role, a huge role in keeping this town up and running and alive. So if they don't have childcare, it really makes their job really, really hard. And so then that means that the town kind of falls too.
In 5 more weeks, the temporary road is expected to be open. Both Bear and Nico are optimistic.
It's exciting to see the changes in the road every day, and I do feel confident that they're going to get it done by the October 15th date that they set, so that is reassuring.
Even when the road is ready for travel, there will be length and weight restrictions. The school district had to spend $86,000 on a smaller bus that will meet those requirements.